Sept. 2011 Care for Cows in Vrindavan Gambhira's ordeal horrible works a promising Goshala care for cows in Vrindavana CFC trustees Kurma Rupa Dasa Hansarupa Dasa Vra Mohan Dasa Hrivalabha Dasa Radha Govinda Dasa Amit Dulani patrons Mahanidi Swami Maharaja CFC staff Kasina Sudana Dasa Bra Gopal Dasa Swits Puri Maharaja Radhapati Dasa Siyamhari, Vij, Ravi, Sukumar, Santosh, Teprakash, Ajit editor Kurma Rupa Dasa Care for Cows in Vrindavana is inspired by his divine grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada founder Akriya International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Dear friends, protection and grazing ground for the cows are among the essential needs for society and the welfare of people in general. The animal fat required for the human body can be well derived from cow's milk. Cow's milk is very important for human energy, and the economic development of society depends on sufficient food grains, sufficient milk, and sufficient transportation and distribution of these products. Lord Sri Krishna, by his personal example, taught us the importance of cow protection, which is meant not only for the Indian climate but for all human beings all over the universe. Less intelligent people underestimate the value of cow's milk. Cow's milk is also called gorasa, or the juice from the body of the cow. From milk we can prepare many important and valuable foodstuffs for the upkeep of the human body. The killing of cows by human society is one of the grossest suicidal policies, and those who are anxious to cultivate the human spirit must turn their attention first toward the question of cow protection. Light of the Bhagavata. Jaya Shri Guru, Jaya Shri Gopala, Jaya Shri Gomata. Care for Cows or Care for Cows in Vrindavan is a charitable trust registered in India, USA, and Switzerland. The CFC staff Shri Yudhisthira Shri Vaisnavakaran Dasa Shri Radha Mohan Ji Goshala, Shamuha. On the Delhi-Agra Highway 15 km south of Vrindavan, a promising Goshala. Our March 2009 CFC newsletter ran an article about a man who had appointed himself the caretaker of any cows injured on the Delhi-Agra Highway between Chatta and Vrindavan. That man is Shri Yudhisthira, who has retired from his career as a lawyer and is now tending to cows with a passion. He has teamed up with Vaisnavakaran Dasa from Noida, and together they have taken charge of Shri Radha Mohan Ji Goshala, where 80 cows presently reside. The property of Shri Radha Mohan Ji is more than 5 acres, one of which is fenced and hosting the herd. There is sweet water, a busa godown, a milking parlor and a feeding shed that hosts 50 cows. In the first phase of development the 2 Gosevaks will build another shed to host 150. 2. A recovery shed and hospice for injured cows. 3. Pens for calves and temporary residents. 4. Some brick roads to facilitate the service on the property. 5. Restoration of the water tank drinking facilities. 6. Fencing in the rest of the property so it can be used to grow fodder for the herd and provide more room for future expansion. Phase 2 includes plans for an office to propagate sustainable cow protection, guest facilities for interested visitors and a clinic to prepare medicines from cow urine. Yudhisthira has offered to take in unwanted cows and bulls from the expanded Care for Cows has committed to provide hay for feeding 60 cows per month and is also assisting in providing advice and consultation. We bow to Shri Yudhisthira and Vaisnavakaran for taking on this burden to serve cows within Vra Mandala. Above, the feeding shed which hosts 50 cows at a time. Right, an interior view of the shed. Further right, a resident with a mended leg and the present leader of the herd. Neighboring villages host them here for 3 days before moving them to Rajasthan to developing cow protection facilities in Seogao and Jarkar. Vaisnavakaran Dasa is giving seminars in Delhi Noida regarding the importance of cow protection and raising funds and grains for the maintenance of the herd. He has initiated a program where special rickshaws with cowbells travel in different urban neighborhoods requesting the residents to donate grains, pulses, gur and capitas for feeding their herd. This program is successful and will be horrible works. Those who are demoniac don't know what is to be done nor what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness, proper behavior nor truth is found in them. They say this world is unreal, there is no foundation, no God in control. It is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Following such conclusions, lost to themselves, devoid of intelligence, the demoniac engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Bhagavad Gita 16.79 The wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. The above verses are from the chapter entitled The Divine and Demoniac Natures. We often imagine that demons are little red men with horns and a tail carrying a trident, but actually demons can appear in any physical form. The Gita defines them by character traits and activities. Animal slaughter is one of the horrible works prevalent in Kali Yuga, and sadly it has become viewed as normal, even beneficial, quite the opposite of its actual nature. Evidence of this is the corporate fast food industry. One of the leaders is the well-known MC Donald's, who are responsible for the slaughter of 67,000 cows per day. MC Donald's opened in 1955. Since then they are proud to advertise that 247 billion beef burgers have been sold. On the web are many sites analyzing this, and there we find that 2024 burgers can be obtained from one cow. The simple mathematics reveals 227 billion divided by 2024, a total of 122 million cows slaughtered so far, and they are proud of it. In the last 5 years, MC Donald's boasts of serving over 5 billion burgers per year. It means they are responsible for the slaughter of 25 million cows per year, 67,680 cows per day, caused by increased slaughter of animals. The most influential and recognized economist in the world, U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke, recognized this issue this month, and so does the United Nations. I watched the news clip live a few weeks ago as Ben Bernanke talked about the correlation of eating beef and rising food prices, and it drove me to find the quote from Reuters and write this article. Some excerpts. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization Food Price Index on Thursday touched its highest level since records began in 1990, as rising food prices showed no sign of relenting, prompting concerns of social unrest. Ben Bernanke said higher food prices were stoked by increasing consumer demand in emerging economies for such things as meat. As people's diets are becoming more sophisticated and as they eat more beef and less grains and so on, the demand for food and energy rise, and that's the primary long-term factor affecting the real price of commodity and food, Bernanke said. Bernanke says people's diets are becoming more sophisticated, but in reality barbarian is more apt of a term. Now it does not take a genius. Ronald McDonald, in a brief article Subha Vilasadasa, explains. Animal slaughter equals social unrest. The UN and US Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke confirms this. In recent weeks you have probably noticed more social unrest and rioting around the world. This is being directly economist to figure out how to resolve this social unrest and looming crisis for inflation and food prices. It will simply take a return to a natural human diet of vegetarian food. To explain the crisis, some simple statistics are given comparing the production of beef to wheat. It takes 18 times more fossil fuel per calorie to produce beef compared to wheat. It takes 15 times the land to produce beef. It takes 200 times the water to produce a pound of beef compared to wheat. These animals are bred by meat producers and fattened up by giving them about 16 pounds of grain for every pound of beef produced. The ratios are similarly disproportionate for all major categories of grains. All of the above statistics do not take into account the inhumane conditions and countless suffering animals are put through just to serve a barbarian diet. Of course, the serious karmic reactions of animal killing is on top of all of these basic arguments. As Srila Prabhupada said, we simply request, don't kill, don't maintain slaughterhouses. That is very sinful. It brings down very severe karmic reactions upon society. Stop these slaughterhouses. MC Donald's is among the many fast food corporations which contribute to the lawless condition in society. Public health advocates are waging a war, not against MC Donald's or the fast food industry per Southeast, but against a much easier target, Ronald MC Donald. Their claim: the happy, friendly clown with the red hair is seducing children to eat MC Donald's Happy Meals and thus is contributing to their rising BMI. According to the Star Tribune Daddy-O blog, public health advocates have written a letter to the CEO of MC Donald's to stop marketing their food products to children. In concert with other moves to ban toys and Happy Meals and other kids' fast food meals, the public health community is focusing its efforts on just one of many culprits contributing to the childhood obesity epidemic. Is it even the most important one? Maybe not. But it certainly grabs the headlines and hopefully raises parental awareness of about food choices for their children. Ronald MC Donald is unlikely to go the way of the dodo, but putting him on notice is probably a good public health strategy. Authored by Summer MCG, PhD. Consuming commercial carcasses is risky. When will they understand that putting pieces of a carcass in your body is a risky business to start with? Just on the basis of health, one would think that their own health self-interest would outweigh their lust. But, alas, kicking an addiction to flesh eating seems to be as difficult for many people as kicking a heroin addiction. Washington, meat giant Cargill is recalling 36 million pounds of turkey after a government hunt for the source of a salmonella outbreak that has killed one person in California and sickened dozens more. The Agriculture Department and the Minnesota-based company announced Wednesday evening that Cargill is recalling fresh and frozen ground turkey products produced at the company's Springdale, Ark plant from February 20 through August 2 due to possible contamination from the strain of salmonella linked to 76 illnesses and the one death. Illnesses in the outbreak date back to March and have been reported in 26 states coast to coast. Both the Agriculture Department and the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention are still working to identify the source. Meanwhile, the Agriculture Department has warned consumers to properly cook ground turkey. Just before the recall announcement Wednesday, CDC epidemiologist Christopher Braden said he thought health authorities were closing in on the suspect. He said some leftover turkey in a package at a victim's house was confirmed to contain the strain of salmonella linked to the outbreak. In announcing the recall, Cargill officials said all ground turkey production has been suspended at the Springdale plant until the company is able to determine the source of the contamination. Given our concern for what has happened and our desire to do what is right for our consumers and customers, we are voluntarily removing our ground turkey products from the marketplace, said Steve Weirdson, president of Cargill's turkey processing business. The Minnesota-based company said it was initiating the recall after its own internal investigation, an Agriculture Department investigation, and the information about the illnesses released by the CDC this week. All of the packages recalled include the code EST P963 according to Cargill. The packages were labeled with many different brands, including Cargill's Honeysuckle White. According to food safety attorney Bill Marler, who publishes a database of outbreak statistics, the ground turkey recall is one of the largest meat recalls ever. A chart on the CDC's website shows cases have occurred every month since early March, with spikes in May and early June. The latest reported cases were in mid-July, although the CDC said some recent cases may not have been reported yet. The CDC said the strain is resistant to many commonly prescribed antibiotics, which can make treatment more difficult. The states reporting the highest number sickened are Michigan and Ohio, with 10 each. Texas has reported 9 illnesses, Illinois, 7, California, 6, and Pennsylvania, 5. 20 states have 1 to 3 reported illnesses linked to the outbreak, according to the CDC. They are Alabama, Arizona, Georgia, Iowa, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Missouri, Mississippi, North Carolina, Nebraska, Nevada, New York, Oklahoma, Oregon, South Dakota, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. The CDC estimates that 50 million Americans each year get sick from food poisoning, including about 3,000 who die. Salmonella causes most of these cases, and federal health officials say they've made virtually no progress against it. Government officials say that even contaminated ground turkey is safe to eat if it is cooked to 165 degrees. But it's also important that raw meat be handled properly before it is cooked and that people wash their hands with soap for at least 20 seconds before and after handling the meat. Turkey and other meats should also be properly refrigerated or frozen and leftovers heated. The most common symptoms of salmonella are diarrhea, abdominal cramps, and fever within 8 to 72 hours of eating a contaminated product. It can be life-threatening to some with weakened immune systems. Cargill executive Weirdson said, "Public health and the safety of consumers cannot be compromised. It is regrettable that people may have become ill from eating one of our ground turkey products," he said, "and, for anyone who did, we are truly sorry. Stop consuming commercial carcasses today." Gambira's ordeal. Gambira was born to Kalia during the summer of 2004 and has always been a healthy and friendly cow. In May of last year she had her first issue with no trouble. 7 months later she was impregnated by Padmalachan and during the last 10 days has suffered from recurring vaginal prolapse. She is in her final month of pregnancy. Her mother Kalia had the same problem but of a more serious nature. While treating Kalia, Dr. Lavania told us that vaginal and uterine prolapse are caused by an increase of the female hormone estrogen, and while reinserting the tissue is not so difficult, if the hormone level is not reduced, the prolapse will recur. To date, we do not know how to successfully reduce the estrogen so that prolapse will not occur. We would appreciate any helpful information in this regard. Gambira is one of the largest cows in our herd and is very strong and healthy. 5 days ago while sitting she began pushing out vaginal tissue and would not stand up. Siyama Hari and Vijay are experienced in how to reinsert the tissue, which has to be done very carefully only after thorough cleaning. They employed a technique taught to them by Dr. Lavania but were unsuccessful until Gambira stood up and the tissue was more inclined to return to its natural place. Once the tissue was reinserted, we affixed the standard harness, see overleaf, that is used locally, which ties the labia closed to reduce the possibility of a recurrence. Of course the harness does nothing to reduce the hormonal level, but it is the standard practice in Goshalas here. We consulted a local veterinarian who prescribed injections of painkillers, anti-inflammatories and antibiotics. We have grown skeptical of these injections as there is no way of knowing if the patient has an allergy to the antibiotics and or painkillers. We declined the injections and Cassie arranged for homeopathic remedies which were administered and no further prolapse occurred for the next 3 days. We plan to continue the use of these homeopathic remedies as they seem to have been effective, though it is not known if they balance the hormonal secretions. For those who are interested, the recommended homeopathic remedies are Sepia 6CH, Calcrea phosphorica and Carbo vegetabilis. On the day before Gambira gave birth, her uter swelled normally but she again above. Gambira and her mother Kalia above right. Gambira showing off her large ears right middle. Gambira pleading for just one more banana right below. Gambira at 18 months old left. Dhruva Maharaja Dasa and Samapriya Dasi, the happy parents who have been sponsoring Gambira since her birth, more than 7 years now. We request all readers to remove their hats and congratulate these responsible, exemplary Goseviks for their dedicated service. Above, the healthy bull calf instinctively searches for the udder so he can take his natural food. Left top and middle. Gambira wearing the standard harness to reduce the possibility of reoccurring prolapse. Left bottom. Cassie cleans Gambira while Vijay assists the calf to drink the first milk. Suffered a prolapse, creating concern that a complicated delivery would result. Our men reinserted the tissue and again affixed the harness. Left, and she stood up and behaved normally. Cassie assigned a cowherd man to keep a constant watch on Gambira, and when the embryonic bag burst, we removed the harness. The calf's front hoof soon protruded, but it was obvious Gambira was going to need veterinary assistance. An expert came and delivered the healthy, oversized bull calf. Gambira then suffered a uterine prolapse, but the vet took it as an opportunity to remove the placenta and wash the uterus and managed to reinsert all the tissue and stitched her vulva closed. The handsome bull calf was worried by the troublesome delivery but gathered his senses and relieved his mother of the colostrum, first milk, which is essential for making his bones sturdy and strengthening his immune system. We all felt great relief that Gambira and son are well and happy. Gurjunina Pramadasa Aditi Sathi Ayudananda Das Alagshwarana L. Krishnan L. Sandra Petrasialino Yershova Amit Kalra Amit Goswami Amrutha Anil Kumar Anonymous Anurada Kavelamadai Ariel Telford Artem Poligalan Avinash Biravolu Bernard Faustino Carol Simpson Caroline Chaves Chandriska Pasupati Chardharanandeso Margani Chidambaram Annamalai Christian Kastner Damadharo L. Chandramoni Dinanath Dasa Deepak Handa Derek Carol Devala Dasa Devender Kumar Dryavara Samapriya Dina Sharana Dasa Dmitri Barishev Doyal Govinda Dasa Elena Emilenko Elena Nikafrov Elizabeth Stewart Gorangapriya Dasi Jason Hopkins Jimmy Branty Johan Wallander John Foot Kamala Melzik Kantilal Shivlal Katha Kanwar Kaushal Kakar Kitri Radhika Waterman Krishna Priya Dasi Crush Deepak Lilya Toneva Lithiga P. Alagshwaran Madhavi Gunchu Pali Mandira Mani Shri Govinda Markli Mary El Valerio Myapur Champakalata Mika Twominan Nalini Gagarnayan Rupareli Anilesh Narayan Nirajayali Nirakaro El Ratnam Nirav Patel Panthea McKnight Paramala Dio Ramo Padal Nu Irina Prashantan Sridharan Make house stay in front of me. Make house stay behind me. Make house stay on both sides of me. May I always reside in the midst of cows. Hari Bhakti Vila 16.252. The cows send their heartfelt thanks to those who assisted during August 2011. Thank you from the cows pure heart are Meager Radhasayama Dasa Rahul Sharma Ram Esta Dasa Rasa Mandala Dasi Ravi Gopal Rohina Sudha Dasa Samarth Chidanand Sanjeevana El Alagshwaran Sanjeev Keswani Sagaran Eso Narayanam Shonia El Jadusti Smruta Sawardkar Shraddha Rakamar Sri Jyadeva Goswami Dasa Srinivasan Gainasan Stella Karl Herzig Swada Ajanovic Subamal Saha Suman Lada Sani Sumitha P. Chardernano Svetlana San 18 Tracy Melina Venkata Venkateswaran Venkatesh Raghavan Vij Sharma Vikas Shah Visnu Murthy Dasa Vivek Baluja Vra Mohan Dasa Yanavalkya Dasa